All right, so cellular respiration. Again, here are our two important questions. Why is oxygen important, and how did the two systems work together? We can't we can't talk about number 2 yet because we haven't learned about the excretory system. But today you will find some information about why is oxygen important. Okay. Nothing to write down here, but just really quickly, organisms get food. We just went through digestive system. Animals eat food. You know this. How do plants get food? Sunlight, photosynthesis. Either way, though, they're getting food. Our goal with that food, why do we need to eat food? Yeah, to get energy. So, how does that happen? We talked about how food is broken down, but we still don't know how we get it to be energy. Just by breaking down food does not give us energy. So we need to first talk about, well, what is the energy that cells can use? Imagine if I paid you in ice cream cones for your summer job. How useful are ice cream cones going to be when you go to check out at Target? Not very useful. So we have to change them into something that is useful. Money, dollar bills, would be useful to you. Or imagine if you have American money and you go over to a foreign country and they don't accept American money. That is not going to be very useful. You have to change it into something else, a different currency, in order for it to be useful. So we need to work on changing the food into a different type of energy. And that type of energy that the cells can use is called adenosine triphosphate. Because it's a big word, we just shorten it to ATP. Tri means how many? 3. Hey, it's got 3 phosphates, 3-letter P's that you can see. So this is the energy that's used by all living organisms. When we're talking about using energy to repair cells and grow new cells and all of these things, we can't just use food molecules. We have to change it into this type of energy. All right, let me show you a little graphic here. Let's look at the top. So ATP has 3 phosphates, 3 little P's on it. This is like a charged battery, okay? So it's a battery, it can do work. In order to get energy out of this molecule, in order to build a cell or make DNA or something, we have to break off a phosphate. When we break off a phosphate, we get a bunch of energy. It releases energy. We can use that energy to do stuff in cells, and it becomes ADP. ADP means diphosphate. It's got 2 phosphates. We just broke a phosphate off. Now, ADP can't be used as energy anymore. It's like a dead battery. But the cool part is that there's reactions that can happen to connect this phosphate back on and make it a charged battery. So we can reuse this ATP molecule because it's like a battery that can be recharged. So here's a graphic, ATP 3 Ps. When we break off a P, the battery becomes dead, but we get the energy out of it, and we can use that energy to do stuff in our cells. So ATP, 3 phosphates, like a charged battery. ADP is 2 phosphates. It is like a dead battery. So what do we do then with this ATP energy? We're not going to write this in our notes, but we can do lots of things. We can make DNA. We can make RNA. We can make proteins, protein synthesis. We can move things into the cell using endocytosis or exocytosis, which uses energy. We can contract our muscles, and we know that our heart is a muscle. We just talked about our diaphragm. And we can send and receive nerve signals. So lots of different things that we can do. So this whole process then of making this energy is called cellular respiration. So it's converting the sugar from the food we eat into energy. And the energy is the form of energy that we can actually use in our cells. It's not ice cream cones. It is energy in the form of ATP. And where does this happen? This happens in the mitochondria. What did you learn in 7th grade? The mitochondria is the... Well, and what does that mean? It's making power. What is power? Energy. Okay. So if you can remember that it's the powerhouse of the cell, you can think, what does that mean? It means it's making energy. So what's our equation? You just did an activity here. You started with one sugar molecule, one glucose. Glucose is C6H12O6. So we start with sugar. You needed a molecule. You needed some molecules from me. What did you need from me? What did you have to get from me? Oxygen. How many oxygens? 12 oxygens. Now, oxygen likes to be in pairs. So if we have 12 oxygens, how many pairs is that? 6. All right. 6 oxygens, because oxygen likes to be O2, which is a pair. All right. Now, we need to be able to charge the battery. So we have ADP, 2 phosphates, and we're going to add on an extra phosphate so that we can get 3 phosphates. The other thing we need are enzymes. We know enzymes. Enzymes help speed up reactions. Now we ended up making some water. We made 6 waters. We made CO2. We made 6 CO2. And then our whole goal here was to be able to get the yellow energies out of our sugar molecule. So when we break down our sugar molecule, we end up with energy. And the energy we end up getting is that ATP energy. So our goal here, break down the food we eat to get energy. What kind of organisms need energy? Do plants need energy? Okay, do bacteria need energy? Yeah. Do humans need energy? All organisms need energy. So when we think about which ones are using cellular respiration to make energy, all of them are. Now, one interesting thing about this cellular respiration equation is very similar to another equation that we learned about. It is similar to our photosynthesis equation. But let's take a look. What do we notice? We got photosynthesis on the top. We got cellular respiration on the bottom. Yeah, they're like opposite. The only difference here is we have sunlight. That's our form of energy for photosynthesis we're using, but we're making it into ATP energy. So opposites, they're kind of opposite equations. So you can use that to kind of help you if that is helpful. All right, excellent. So going back to our original question, at your table, I would like you to talk with the people at your table. I need you to answer the first question here. Why is oxygen important? Okay, ready, go. Brainstorm some stuff.